Hi, YouTube. Just stay right there, 6 feet away. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Okay, I need everybody to realize, and you'll know this is true, unless somebody spits in your food or something, no virus has ever been airborne. Viruses are not airborne. Masks, unless somebody's going to spit at you or something, there it doesn't make any difference. Keeping away from people is ludicrous. It's just a ploy. It's just part of what they're trying to do to everybody. Um, there were more people that there's 20,000 people that died in the with the flu last year altogether, and there's only 2,000 confirmed deaths from this strain of the so-called virus, which is more a bronchial thing. It's with your lungs. That would indicate more of a cold than a virus. A virus, when what I always learned, and I did take medical training, that and my other nurse friends on here, and I was TMA also, dealing with your mind. Um, you would have to agree with me that we were taught in medical school that germs from a cold can be spread, but a virus is something like AIDS, for instance. You can't catch a virus from somebody's air breathing the same air, that type of thing. Like I said, they literally would have to put saliva on you, or shaking hands or whatever. I mean, washing our hands and not touching our faces and things. We should have been acting like that all along anyway, but less people have died around the world from this than the actual flu, the regular seasonal flu that's always gone around. And they are using this as to deploy martial law. Does anybody recall the pictures or the videos of large military vehicles on trains being transported all over the United States? Look it up if you don't know, or if you do, I'm glad you do. Um, why do they need them? Ask yourself. Why do they need those in, like, say, a small town, or which we have a National Guard here, um, with helicopters and whatever capabilities? A very small city is where I live, outside of the city. But, and then ask yourself this: did you know, and why did so many thousands of troops of Russians come and train with our military approximately 2 years ago, three at the most, on the East Coast of the United States? Weren't they kind of like uh, well, I wouldn't call them an enemy, but weren't they sort of like definitely not our allies, with all this stuff going on in Syria and whatnot? You know, a lot of weird things going on in the world right now, you know. Then, here to top it off, uh, government facilities and the nursing industry are calling for people to pay money towards this pandemic that is not a pandemic. And the Minnesota Nurses Union got online today and said, donate money so we can buy more masks for our facilities, because if we get sick, who's going to take care of you? And I wrote to them and I said, the medical professionals that are telling the truth, that's who will, you know. Well, I went to share that and they ended up blocking it and taking my information down. So I did copy and paste it and repost it on Facebook. Facebook was a flipping nightmare. The day before yesterday, I changed to their new format. They have a brand new look to their software. So I changed to it, and the letters were bigger and the pictures were brighter and everything, and that part of it was wonderful. I would go to post something, and some of my friends on there, if you're here too, you could recall seeing, God, all of a sudden Barb's putting through three at a time of the same thing. What's up with that? What's up with that is would go to post something and it would flip out like two and three of them at a time in double or triplicate. So I'd have to go back into my page and delete the ones that were there. And then it would say, we can't delete this. And then all of a sudden it would be gone. Or I'd go to post something and it wouldn't post it at all. So then they asked me today, when I went to go back to the classic look, they said, well, you know, didn't you like it? Didn't you like the layout or the format or blah blah this and that or other? And I wrote other. To me, it was more like they had more control over what I was putting out. There was a delay on my posts instead of just putting them out instantly. It would be like, oh, over 40 seconds or more, stuff like that. Just kind of odd, you know. Or if I'd go to write a comment on a post and I was going to copy and paste it because I had some incredible information for people as far as these military tanks around the world and what they're doing with them and why, to keep us quarantined with this fake stuff that really has no bearing on anything. That, just a minute, you go lay down. I know they're shooting, but just lay down. Neighbors are shooting and my little dog is scared. You'll be just fine. Just cuddle up right down there. You're okay. So just a minute, I'll get my train of thought back. But yeah, I was pretty disgusted with these nurses out there trying to get more money towards these masks that they really don't need, you know. And besides that, you can literally take a piece of cloth, or I saw a woman take two paper clips and staples. She took a paper towel and folded it like an accordion. And then she took and put a paper clip and stapled it, one on each side, and just put it behind her ears and spread the mask out. It's like, hey, that's ingenious. How cool is that? But these people are going to get how many thousands or what for doing this, you know? Yeah, okay. That's not cool. Not cool at all. But okay, and here's another for instance on what's going on in society. You know how we bailed the banks out and everything, and then we go to get loans. They wouldn't let us. Right now, today, we could go get a loan at 3.75% up to $2 million for small businesses. Nonprofits get a loan at 2.75 interest um, per dollar. That's a lot of money, even on the 2.75, which is basically kind of low. Anything under four, well, anything over three is pretty high, literally, because it will cost you a lot. But we always would pay, like on our mortgage, till we had it paid off, pay extra and get them off our backs so they didn't weren't able to hold anything over our head in these times, you know. But talk about scam. So you start paying, they take your money, then the economy crashes and they own your house. Not a good idea, people. Do not remortgage. I wouldn't. That's just my opinion. Or get like a would be a home equity loan. Do not do it. And if you got one, if you can pay it off, even if it's out of some of your savings, I mean, I believe that money is going to be worth less anyway. You might as well do what you can to pay off what you got, you know? And they say, well, there's forgiveness on this and that. They don't have FEMA camps and all these things that they're doing. Well, here's another one, letting people out of jails, criminals, and having all these empty cells, and then reports of people that are calling for in different states that if you don't get your children vaccinated, that they'll consider it child abuse and incarcerate you and take your children. That this is their game plan. And like I said, it's been written in the agendas, and people have been screaming this to the rooftop. See, what makes it seem phony, and this is a big issue with me. Excuse me one moment, I'll get to that. Okay, I had a Facebook friend that had a beautiful list of all that was going on, what they planned to do with the agendas. But then it came down to one thing on that list that shouldn't have been there that made everything else look fake. And that was whether Michelle Obama was a man or not. And I said, I can't share this because I've never seen her naked. I've never seen her nude or look between her legs. So, with everything else that is great information, that makes everything else on there look fictitious. It looks fake, all because of that one little bitty thing. It's the same thing with David Icke. He's got incredible information until he calls the evil minded people in the world reptilians. When you start going into another species, when you're talking about the people that control the world at this point, and they are the fallen bloodline, to fall just to be in the pit, to never have your cravings um, fulfilled because you are of that mindset, doesn't make them reptilians. It does, however, make them satanistic, you know. But but when you're going to put a reptilian picture on some wonderful information that could actually educate people on what is really going on in the world, and then they put something like that, and it makes it so looking fake that people don't grasp the facts as truth. They overlook the whole thing like fake. Well, I've never seen a reptile in my backyard, so, well, you should have met my ex. But um he was pretty good looking reptile, but whatever, they are what they are, right? But see what I'm saying, then it makes it all look fake, and people aren't to able to gather the correct information because of the way they present it. And that's intentional, you know. So then I have friends in Gaza, and if any of you watch this, you know I've always wished you the best. You know I've been out here since 1995 telling people the truth and trying to get help for the situation that is going on in the world. But I guarantee you, see, even for myself, there's always somebody that has it worse. 14 years of suffering, that is rough. Try 63, would you? And you have to ask yourself, no matter who you are, would you trade your sorrows for another person's? Would you guarantee that? Could you stake your soul on that fact before you open your mouth? Like taking glee in the fact the rest of the world, Gaza's been on lockdown for 14 years. How does it feel? How does it feel to not give a shit about somebody that's been hurt all their life? All their lives? I can honestly tell you it doesn't feel very good, you know? So my heart does go out to people, but I'm not going to sit there and write something like, now you're going through it. How does it feel? I mean, I've passed a couple jokes around, like, now you're going to know what it feels like, or a couple fear tactic things like wake up. But that brings me to another topic. Well, a couple other topics, topics of the day. Um, People still believing that Trump has your best interests at heart, or when the military starts marching up and down your sidewalks, or quarantines off our dirt road, and nobody on this road is sick. We probably never get sick out here. I mean, Doug was born with bronchitis, bronchial asthma, and I have allergies, but these are not contagious. We're probably the cleanest society around, or one of them, or at least in our area outside of town here, so there would be absolutely no reason for any large military vehicles in our state, really, unless it was up by Lake Superior by the marine and the ports up there coming from all the Great Lakes and the oceans, or, something like that. I can see having the military there, you know, or across the rivers where the submarines can come in or something like that. That I could understand. But if that starts happening, which we've been in the military flight zone, flying right over our house with their practice runs the last 10 years, um, which is really outrageous. But anyway, that's another story too. But here's another topic of the day. I get on there and I think that my future daughter in law, not the one I have, that I love absolutely so much and admire her. Um, and I love the one that's going to be my future daughter in law. I really, really, really do. I think in some ways she's been guided, misguided. Get mad if you want if you watch this. I won't name your name, and I love you, but I'm going to tell it like it is. I got on there this morning on Facebook, and I seen that her mother had posted a picture of a guy working from home behind his computer and a glass desk, and he didn't have any clothes on. And I gave it an angry face. So I think people are upset with me. Well, I was a little upset too. This is not the time for fun and games and loose little tactics like from your Satanistic little mindset like that. This is the time for serious talking, serious conversations. Yes, some light-hearted stuff. But if you say you're of God, then be of God. Keep it that way, especially around me. As far as I'm concerned, and this is how I'm feeling right this moment, unless you bring that wedding to me, I'm not going. Couldn't pay me enough to. And this is why, because of the other people that are going to be there, or what you accept into your life. I mean, I still have love, I'll still communicate, but I can't be as close as I would like to be. And am I sad? Yeah, of course I am. I'm a lot sadder, or maybe not. There I go. Maybe the person that's doing this is way more sad than I am. But and maybe they really are. So I don't know. Hard to say, isn't it? All I know is what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate, you know. And people know if they've disappointed me. So, like I say, get mad all you want. And if that's why you were upset today, and I'm talking to this one person in particular, um, Are you going to grow up, grasshopper? You know? Oh, here's a joke. They had passed around um, the name of the flu was a chew. I was going to name this video a chew grasshopper. you know, like from the show Kung Fu. Yeah. Anyway, I don't mind humor, but I don't find nudity humorous. You know, I passed around some information last night on a secret occult society that's affiliated with the Masons, and that even if anybody watched it, and it's on my Facebook, but if you watched it, it has nudity in there. But this is their beliefs, and that even goes into a deeper rabbit hole as far as what the female Masons believe in that and who they worship, which would be several different avenues down that area too, whether it be a woman or whether it's Lucifer or his female, um, or even Christ. But it isn't as far as worship. What they're trying to do with that spirit is to contain it and control it, because the two witnesses, the with people with Christ in their heart, we're the ones that mold the world, the future. And they're trying to make us believe all sorts of things in the world that will take that away from us. One thing you can know, no matter what is written, what is said, or what you see, you know you have God in your heart. That's all you need to know. Just keep that there. That's your armor. You know, of course, we all get a little nervous in these times because we see things. And I had a friend that was getting a little panicky. And oh, I've been there. I felt like packing a knapsack and heading up towards the lake and just building a fire and sitting by it just to have some peace of mind. I get in my moods, you know. I literally had my horse injured on purpose. That's a long story. So I couldn't get on her and go because they knew that's what my intent was. I can't prove this, but it's true. So, I mean, she's not so injured that she's in constant pain or anything, but having the weight of a human being, no matter what, would be hard on her. So she hurt her hoof. So, anyway, but so today's been a little trying, and then this was a good one. I got on our public library's site because I had long ago read a really good book that sort of correlates with the times now. If anybody is familiar with it, it's a fiction, but it really correlates with what's going on right now, called Swan Song. Like you hear a person will give their swan song, that would be their last statement of their life. Well, Swan Song is such an amazing book about a little girl, and she loses both her parents, and I've been in similar feeling of the situation. And this man who was considered like a dunce or whatever, um, ended up taking care of her, and it's a most excellent book. But to get it on Amazon was like $30, which it can go towards other things. And I kept trying to get it through our regional library, and there's 5 different library counties that are connected, and the book was always out because it is that good. It just wonderful. So I went on our public library electronic page today and filled out the application to get my library card digital online so I could get the ebook and read it again. So I'm on there, and my telephone number and my birthday were like one above the other. And they kept saying I was putting it in wrong. And I kept trying to put them in the same way that they said to do it. And I'm good at forms. I mean, I went to school as a typist clerk. So, and computer software. So I pretty good at that type of thing. So I put 02. Well, I had my um 1958 first, 02, and 15, with a dash in between. I kept submitting it. They kept telling me it was wrong. So I finally got into chat with this woman, and she's going to pass it on and have them help me through email. But in the end of this conversation, well, she sent through a couple smiley faces at me, and I wrote, LOL, hope your day is great, and I'm getting a little more irritated. I had already been through all this baloney, except for the nursing thing. I saw that after I was done with this. But I had been through quite a bit, and I mean, I was writing my son. Somebody tried to call me, and it cut my conversation off. Then somebody else wanted to be my friend, but I said no private messages. And a gentleman that I don't know well and didn't want to private message. No offense to my friends that we talk occasionally, whatever. But just too many, like several, 5 times while I'm trying to get things done this morning, and it will cut my conversation off or what I'm typing or whatever. And so that just fries me out. And I try not to get pissed off. I'm like, you know, that type of feeling. I'm like, okay. And I had to tell this one person, I don't private message. And he said, well, could I get your phone number and your email? And I'm like, didn't answer it. And then he went to type again, and then I wrote something. I said, you don't listen very well, do you? It's like, and then I said, "You wanna get to know me? I've got 850 videos. Go ahead and watch some of them." I said, "I'm sure I'm a little bit rough for you anyway." I wrote out on a post because we had started talking. He asked if he could friend me, if I would friend him. So I went over and friended him. And then he asked if he could talk, and I said, on post in public, yeah, no problem. You know, like I said, I have a few friends I talk to privately, and I'm okay with that, and I am, and I do love everybody. It's just, people connect with people, certain people, a little easier than others at times. You know, I did make a friend who could be a relative because I'm related to McDonald's, but I see that he's some kind of army officer. It's really weird because I know that most people that come across me can tell by my posts where I stand as far as government is concerned. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of military friends in my life, and we seem to connect quite fine. That's not a problem, but I just find it kind of odd, you know, as anti war as I am, you know, it's not a opposites attract either. It's not nothing like this. This guy, right, might actually be family, like a second or third cousin, or something like that. So if he sticks around, I guess I'll find out. you know. So but for me, it makes it easier to look at the whole world as family, because then your compassion flows a little greater. if the people that actually ran the world thought of others like that, we wouldn't have any homeless, starving people in the world. And it's really cold outside today, yet I know there's children and their moms and dads walking around in Minnesota freezing to death as we speak, or people that are roasting to death in other areas. There's just no need for it. But yet they're asking for donations for masks. And how many billions of dollars do they want to fund this fake pandemic? And I told people I saw these vials of these different numbered viruses that they had and the different ailments and diseases that are in this world. And I'm telling you the truth. This is all contrived bullshit. Fear tactics to control us even more than what they do. So I really don't know what more I can say on that besides if you finally are getting it, help other people to understand. For some reason, whether it's just to become closer to God or closer with your family or closer with the world or whatever it may be, there must be some reason and some good that's going to come out of this. But they're playing out the book of Revelation. They literally are. With the plague part is where we are, in the locusts. When they start, okay, there was a post too that had four different angels of Jesus Christ in the sky, and it said, "If you love me, you will share this." I'm like, oh, give me a break. This is Project Bluebeam at its finest. You know, things like that. What they're doing, it's a projection. They're using the heavy metal in our atmosphere to try and fool people. You know, so I just don't know what more can be said on that. You know. It's not that I believe everything that's out there, but I do believe what their agendas were because I saw them and I saw them written what their plans were. And when I decoded that blue book with the Bible in the concordance and the dictionary, I was really freaked out. I started running away. Imagine how scary that was, knowing that it says they're going to kill Jesus Christ. That's the two witnesses and want all Christians dead like that? That's a scary thing to be a little kid and find out something like that and be all alone and not know what to do. So, it's not that I'm all freaked out, but I know things will be getting worse for everybody, you know. I'm not going to say now you're going to feel like I do, but you will. The fear that actually the uncertainty, that's what I call fear. For me, I've been in battles with big ass monsters, so that's and God has taken care of me. But when I'm talking fear, I mean the uncertainty that I've always had to put into God's hands and say, don't let me freak out because I know you've always helped me. Well, the whole world is going to have to start thinking like that. So, you know, so let's see if I can find any words of comfort for people that are having a rough day. We just have to keep God in our hearts no matter what. It's just like today was a little bit frustrating, and I just got to keep remembering even people go love Trump all you want, love him to death, pray for him because he's uh, filthy, treat, these heads of states and monarchies, wherever you are, you know, literally pray for them because to have God go into their hearts, you know, because they're going to need that help. They really are. You know, that's I don't know what more I can say. I guess that's probably about it today. I wanted to get on here. Like I said, I know a friend that was freaking out. I know another friend that has faith in the government. And, like, you don't put faith in no man ever. If you trust that, I mean, we're united as a states, and we're all a part of the family of the world. But if you put faith in a man that could literally take people into war and say he's a Christian, you're a freaking Fruit Loop. And that's my term that I put out there a long time ago. I have some other ones that I'm not going to say because I'm trying really hard here for everyone. So, um, consider what I said. Consider what's out there. I mean, this is way beyond worrying about 5G towers and them scrambling your brains and you having to take the mark of the beast, which would be in the shots, and them being able to control you with this electronic weaponry. Yes, those are concerns. You would have to ask yourself what you're going to do when they come for you. When you're confronted in that situation, what are you going to do that moment? That's that is a bottom line thing here, you know, and it's coming, you know. Some people are taking it lightly, and that's okay, I mean, it's not, I'm not going to say go live in your fairy tale land and, believe God's going to save you because he will. That's not my issue. Whether I live or die, I know my soul is going to be okay. You know, it's just like, oh, here's a for instance. It's like God helps those who help themselves. Somebody was trying to run me over with a truck, and I was running down the road, and I ran into the ditch. Like I helped myself because God gave me the instincts to get out of the way and say, they'll know they'll die if they run off where you run off. That's kind of like a common sense thing. It's coming down to a common sense thing. You're really going to have to use your senses and let God guide your heart in a fearful moment. Because I've been faced with death like that. And I've had a gun in my mouth. What are you going to do at that moment? I've been shot. What are you going to do if you're hunted? I'm just asking out of curiosity, you know. So, well, I love you all so much. Oh, there's another thing. I had somebody call me dear, and another, like, can't take my eyes off of you. Well, trust me. Um, if you're that freaking soapy, I will give you a gazillion reasons to take your eyes off of me. Anyway, so yeah, I've been dealing with a lot lately. Most of it is my own doing because I open my heart to people that I probably should just use my instincts and say, hey, no more. But, I'll try. I'll keep trying every once in a while. It's probably time for some spring. Well, this one guy, though, yesterday, I befriended him. He sent through some filthy stuff, and I went right over and unfriended him just that quick, and blocked him. So, that type of thing. So, okay, everybody. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota. Not on lockdown yet, but we still can't go out of our country. So, and you know what? Land of the free. Just doesn't seem so, does it? you know, no, it doesn't. I'll talk to everybody soon. Have a good night or day wherever you're at. Later.